Greetings in the bonds of peace, and welcome to Ishi. My name is Dr. Lyons. I am a forever student of the divine vision and revelation given to the founder of the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research, Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley, who had his divine vision and revelation in the year of 1931 in the state of Ohio. After the establishment of the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research in the state of California in the year of 1958, he proved these facts on 3 ecclesiastical peace missions around the world to every religious organization and school of the highest learning. As a result of his divine vision and revelation, he transcribed this book called The Archetype, Original Pattern of the Universe. This publication was given to every king and queen of the earth and progenies, president-elect, and every religious organization from 1960 to 1976, along with a Holy Name Version Bible. Here. The Holy Name Version Bible contains the true and correct names of the Heavenly Father and His Son. This Bible was revised by A.B. Trainer, an Italian Hebrew. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. His divine title is Elohim. The name of His Son is Yahshua, the Messiah. Within the inscription, Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley revealed to the world the threefold pattern Yahweh Elohim revealed to Moses upon Mount Sinai in the year of 1490 BY. And later commanded Moses to build one in the wilderness of Sinai, which was the establishment of cardinal ordinances. After 40 years within the wilderness of Sinai, Yahweh Elohim commissioned Moses to place his hand upon Yahshua, the son of Nun, in the audience of the children of Israel, to give him charge to take the children of Israel over unto Canaan's land to possess their inheritance. Before Moses had entered into Mount Nebo. 33 days later, Eleazar and the sons of Aaron placed the soles of their feet within the river Jordan, and it opened up like unto the Red Sea, as the promise Yahweh Elohim had given to Father Abraham, that in his seed all nations of the earth would be blessed. Yahshua, the son of Nun, numbered the children of Israel in Joshua, the 4th chapter. And in Joshua, the 5th chapter, it confirmed the covenant of circumcision of Abraham's seed entered into Canaan's land to the cherubim Michael, the captain of the host of Yahweh, before their 40-year conquest and inheritance of Canaan's land. 480 years after the children of Israel left the land of Egypt, the foundation of this temple was laid. 7 years of the completion of this temple, and 3 years to defer. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, and 3. The 3 years to defer was so that all the instruments that was within the tabernacle upon Mount Zion would be placed within the temple upon Mount Moriah. This would make a completion of a 490-year cycle. The same divine service that was manifested here in the wilderness of Sinai, according to the laws of Moses, were the same ordinances that were fulfilled here for 33 years, until the invasion and destruction of this temple by the king of Egypt, King Shishak. This was revealed to John on the Isle of Patmos, that Yahshua the Messiah was the true temple and the Lamb of Yahweh, which took away the sins of the world. John bared record that the Messiah told the Pharisees and scribes of his time, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it again." But he spoke of the temple of his body. John also bared record that when the centurion guard had pierced Yahshua within his side, that forthwith came blood and water. The 120 persecuted for the preaching of the gospel of Yahshua being the Messiah, fulfilling the law for 7 years to AD 40, until the Gentile nation received the Holy Spirit. As a promise to Father Abraham, that all families of the earth would be blessed through the seed of Yahshua, the Messiah. These illustrations can be found in the first edition, 1961, on pages 42. As well on pages 69 in the 12th edition, called The Comparative Analyst Apostolic Confirmation of Moses and John of the Creation. Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley had given us rules of engagement pertaining to his vision, that the manifestation will change, but the principles will remain the same. That being said, study to show thyself approved, a workman who needs not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And may the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, teach you all things. My aims and objectives are to help you find Yahshua the Messiah in your heart and in your mind. 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 5. 1 Corinthians 6, 17 through 20. 2 Corinthians 3, 1 through 6. My second aim and objective is to show you how Yahweh wrote his laws in your inward parts. Jeremiah 31, 31, Hebrews 8, 10 through 13. My third aim is to help you discern the sons of Elohim and the sons of the devil. 1 John 3rd chapter, 1 John 4, 1 through 10. My fourth aim and objective is to show you and prove that Yahshua is the true Elohim, whom Yahweh sent. 1 John 5 and 20, John 17 and 3. At this particular time, we'll be having a prayer, our scripture reading, announcements, our script ascertainment and perception and direction exam. We will choose a speaker. And then at the end, we will have our doxology, which will be Romans 16, 25 through 27. At this particular time, I will be giving the prayer. Heavenly Father Yahweh, I thank you once again for all things. Most importantly, I thank you, Heavenly Father, for understanding. I thank you, Father, that you allow me to look and to seek within your purpose, to get it an understanding of things that are happening and things to come. I pray, Father, that you give me strength, power, and your foundation for what's getting ready to manifest in upcoming events. I need your divine wisdom, your divine intelligence, your divine justice, your divine love, and your divine beauty, and your intelligence, so that, Father, I can continue to do what you are having me do today. Allow me a way, Heavenly Father, to provide your gospel clear as you have given it unto me, to give to your children so that they can be able to understand your beautiful purpose. And so that we all can come and see you, as you have said, to come up and see you sometime. So allow me, Heavenly Father, the tools to open the gates and the doors of heaven, so that me and others may see you as you really are. I ask these things in my King's name, my Savior's name, my Master's name, Yahshua the Messiah. And I ask, Father, that you remain to be in me mightily. Hear me in heaven, and may these things manifest on earth. In Yahshua's name. The scripture reading for today will be Revelations, the 13th chapter.
Hallelujah.
I will be reading to you Revelations, the 13th chapter, out of the Holy Name Version Bible, critically compared with ancient authorities and various manuscripts revised by A.B. Traynor. Revelations 13th chapter reads as follows. And I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was likened unto a leopard, and his feet as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered at the beast. And they worshiped the beast, which gave power, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is likened unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given to him to make war with the sons and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that is destined for captivity shall go into captivity. For he that is destined to be killed with the sword will be killed with the sword. Herein is patience and the faith of the sons tested. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he hath power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an idol for the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the idol of the beast, that the idol of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the idol of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand and on their foreheads, so that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the idol of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the idol of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. I have read to you Revelations, the 13th chapter. At this particular time, hallelujah, I will be making our announcements and our ecologies. Please excuse me. Oh, please excuse me. Had a interesting day. At this particular time, I have not any announcements. I will be picking up today the ecologies that I had missed in our former class. So I will be starting based upon here. It says that our geography takes us with our ecologies to Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas. It says that a 4.1 earthquake rattles Oklahoma, also felt through Texas and Kansas around 1:30 p.m. local time, Tuesday, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. According to the pattern, Kansas is in the most holy place. So Kansas would likely be likened unto Canaan's land, okay? Or the top part right here manifesting the holy place within this threefold intangible tabernacle. So therefore we have Kansas manifesting right up here. Then it says that Oklahoma is manifested right here within the holy place, okay? So you have Kansas City, Oklahoma, and then we have Texas within the court roundabout. It says that a 4.1, May 25th, 2020, it says that I don't remember a quake in this area, Hamilton told the NBC News, who said earthquakes are rare in his part of western Oklahoma. Okay? So he's in the holy place. And looking at this particular map and seeing how that when you're looking at the whole world map and you're seeing where Kansas is and Oklahoma and Texas, it's had a line coming right down this way, just like this. Okay? And how you see the tabernacle manifesting right here, it was showing you the direction pertaining to the U.S. Geological Survey, how that earthquake hit here and came all the way down from the most holy place to the holy place to the court roundabout. It hit the whole entire tabernacle pertaining to 1, 2, 3, looking at the 3 states of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And it also says that the central part of the state was an intense seismic activity. Now, the reason why it said that these things were happening here and this earthquake had manifested the way that it did, it said it was blamed on water waste from mining oil and gas and certain drilling techniques that are manifesting in the state of Oklahoma. Because Oklahoma, and Texas are the places where they do a lot of mining for oil and gasoline in these areas. So they said by the wastewater, when they are cleaning up after they're drilling these particular holes and the things that they're having, they said that it is allowing, I guess, the place to be shifting up under them to where it's allowing these earthquakes to manifest. Okay? So basically what they're doing is doing a whole lot of drilling right here. So I found that interesting when I was looking at the map, and it was showing how from the top are the place of Kansas to Oklahoma to Texas, how that it fit the pattern just like this and look just like this when you look at the state or the map. And so that's our geography pertaining to our ologies. Now it says that on the map, our geography takes us to Tahoe. It says that an earthquake with a 4.2 magnitude shook Tahoe area Friday morning. Friday morning, that's today, okay? It says the quake centered at the middle of the lake. So what we're talking about now is talking about the center part. It's talking about the center of the lake pertaining to where this earthquake can manifest. Well, we have been showing you that pertaining to earthquakes, that we understand that when there is an earthquake, and pertaining to the things that we're talking about, you understand what I'm saying? It is talking about the resurrection, and we're showing you right here pertaining to the vision, how that when the Messiah had went through his death and he was buried within Joseph's new tomb, principle down here, that we're showing you that pertaining to his resurrection and the angel rolling the stone away, that here is manifesting a resurrection. Okay, so now when you're looking at this and you're seeing, and we're talking about certain earthquakes, it said that this earthquake, and we're looking and showing you that pertaining to this resurrection, what we're going to do is slide back a little bit. And what we want to do is to show you what we're talking about pertaining to the divine vision that we're trying to reveal to you, as well as authenticate the divine vision of our founder, Dr. Canaan. Now, here, when we look at the vision, it is revealing to you how that this center part is revealing how that the waters before they were divided from the waters above and those beneath. And we're showing you pertaining to how you see this perforated line, and it's revealing how you have the dark waters that are manifesting the waters above, and then the lighted colored waters, which are manifesting the waters beneath. So this is showing forth the conglomerated waters that are manifesting itself over the whole inter-organic earth at this particular time. So when we are sharing with you principles, and it is telling you that when it is picking up principles of lakes and oceans and things of that particular nature, and we come here, and then it is telling you that where it had manifested. So now here within the news, it is saying that there was an earthquake, and we come here with the earthquake, and it says that it was in the center of the lake, okay? So now when we look at how we have this tree, as we showed you, manifested within the center, okay, of in between Yahweh Elohim and Yahshua, okay, the sanctum of sanctorans, and this being the center or the middle part of the lake, and we're showing you this tree, and it says that there was an earthquake that had manifested within the center part of this particular lake, and it was a 4.1. And we understand that pertaining to a 4.1, that the principles of 4.1 is manifesting an hour of time, spiritually so, because it's picking up the principles of 40 years. And we understand that 40, okay, is 1 hour in the time of Yahweh Elohim. Now, the reason why that we have been picking up time, and time has been so important and so prevalent based upon the things that we have been talking about, is because where we are in time according to Yahweh Elohim's calendar. All right. And then the things that we use pertaining to the watches, okay, we understand that these things are very, very important because it is allowing us to be able to see based upon the times that are given, whether it's local time, central time, or what have you. It is still allowing us to be able to place the times within the watches, to be able to see the prophetic sequence based upon the things that happen with the Messiah and the things that are manifested within the world, as well as the things that were pertaining to the children of Israel coming up out of the land of Egypt to and through the divided waters of the Red Sea, as well as the things that was happening, see, within our first and second dispensation, which is our second age, which is the antediluvian age. Okay, so now you have all these things manifesting simultaneously right here pertaining to the time frame of where we are. All right, and in fulfillment of the scriptures, we understand that pertaining to the death, burial, resurrection of Yahshua Messiah, he had fulfilled all these things and allowed us, okay, based upon the death, burial, and resurrection of Yahshua Messiah, to be in the spirit. Okay, because time has ended. Came in the fourth dispensation. And we understand that. So now the reason why that we're going back and we're showing you these things to where it is talking about that there was a 4.1 earthquake in the middle of the lake of Lake Tahoe today at 8:25. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the reason why that time frame is really so important is because, Dr. Johnson, I do believe that was around the time that we were having our conversation.
Yeah.
See? And so therefore, I do believe that pertaining that within that conversation that we were having during the time that this earthquake had manifested, you said that when Yahweh Elohim had me speak certain things and certain facts, that there will be an earthquake. Mm-hmm. Is that about right?
Yep.
Am I putting anything on that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So in essence, I'm asking you, based upon the conversation that we were having today around that time, and how long did we speak today?
Hour and 34 minutes and 22 seconds.
Okay, so we spoke for an hour and 34 minutes and 22 seconds. Now, yes. I find that very interesting because that is exactly how long that our previous lecture was when we were cut off. Do you understand? That is the precise time. Okay, you said 22 seconds?
Yep.
We talked for 5 seconds longer because it was 1:34:27 exactly when we were cut off from our last session. Okay?
Oh, that's crazy.
And so therefore it was left a principle of 5, which the principle of 5 is Pentecost, meaning it was spiritual. And the whole conversation that we talked about this morning was a spiritual conversation pertaining to the gospel and the things, see, that Yahweh Elohim was revealing us pertaining to the lecture that we was talking about. So, you know, I really find that very, very interesting. And this is the reason why that I'm coming to the chart and showing forth that when we're looking at earthquakes and things pertaining to that nature and things of that has to do with volcanoes, it is pertaining to the inner organic earth. And here we are revealing to you that it's anything that's pertaining to the inner organic earth is pertaining to Yahshua, the sanctum of sanctoriums, because he is manifesting the interior portion of the tabernacle. And we reveal to you that this is a manifestation of the exterior. So you have the exterior and the interior. Okay, and it's revealing to you that this is the outside of the man, and therefore that this is the inside of the man. And therefore, when you are looking at this, it appears to be an oxymoron, because here you are looking at the creation coming in, okay, and then here you are looking at the creation finished. All right. So therefore, pertaining to that, that is why that we apply the principles of how that when you're seeing the creation coming in, and this is the exterior, and then this is how the creation looks when it's finished. Okay, this was the covering of the creation until it had manifested. Okay, and revealing to you how that this being the covering of the creation, to be able to show you the beauty of it, of how it manifested when it was finished. You understand what I'm saying? Then likely you can understand how that this is the exterior, and then that this is the interior. Because everything that you see pertaining to how this dove is making his movement in each place within this threefold tabernacle pattern. And as we said, that anywhere you go, it is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. As well, to where you learn how to work the vision, that you can apply the same principles as here, and this being the outer court going all the way around this particular chart, and then this particular part being the holy place, and then we come here within the center to show forth the holy place, that this is manifesting a manifestation of an atom, revealing to you the electron, the proton, and here we have the neutron. Okay, and we are giving you these examples because we are revealing to you that everything within the creation is threefold, even the smallest microscopic part of matter, see, which is an atom, see, and that's what the founder said, see, and these are the things that we find so significant and so beautiful pertaining to Yahweh Elohim's purpose. So this is why that we go through these things. And we show you these things pertaining to when we are sharing our ecologies, to reveal to you the true significance of how these earthquakes are taking place, and the things pertaining to lava and things of that particular nature that is manifesting within the earth plane. Okay, so we just want to let you know how those things work. Now, it said that the 4. Okay, now it said it manifested at 8:25 a.m. It says a magnitude of 4.4. All right, so here we have a 4.4 magnitude. It says but has been revised to a 4.2. Now we was talking, and we're revealing to you how that everything that we say that it was Joshua, all right? Now, it said that it was a 4.4, right? And that it was reduced to a 4.2 magnitude earthquake, all right? So now we're revealing to you here that when it said that it was a 4.2, and we come to Yahshua's garments right here, what does that say right here from when it says from 1960 to 2002, giving you the time frame of when I had the vision, that it was what, 42 years, right here, okay? Yeah. So now when we are saying to you that it is Yahshua that is manifesting these earthquakes and these things of that particular nature, all right? And we're giving you these witnesses that, I'm just gonna say it, you know, and please excuse my colloquialism, but there is no way in hell that we could talk at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then the same principles based upon the things that we talked about within our conversation, that we can come here to the chart. And we was talking about that. It was Joshua that was doing everything that he was doing pertaining to his purpose. And then we come here on the chart, and then we see these things pertaining to that earthquake that had manifest right here on the chart. Okay? See? Yeah. That's the significance of it. See, that's just like when we was talking about over there about that, what happened to that young man that happened over there in England. And he was 9 years old, and we got 9 scriptures, okay? And therefore, that young man who got killed over there in England got struck by lightning. You understand what I'm saying? See? Yeah. So, you know, I'm just letting you know that these things, like I said, we are revealing to you that the physiology of what is common to the world is not common. because they think that these things are acts of nature, Mother Nature. You understand what I'm saying? Are phenomenons that are far beyond the comprehension of man on reason how they occur and when they occur. Okay. So this is the reason why that when we look at philosophy or things of that particular nature, that we know that it's just physics. Okay. And that's what we're trying to reveal to you. We're not trying to spook you, but we are trying to let you know that there is a true creator in existence. And this is his creation. And we are his creatures. Okay. And that's all we're trying to reveal to you. All right. So it says that that the earthquake that was reduced to a 4.2, it says that the earthquake occurred about 5 miles southeast. So now it says 5 miles. We talking about that number 5. There go that 5 that we was talking about that we missed in our conversation. So therefore, it makes it 134.27 because we're gonna take this 5 because you said 134.22. So therefore, with this article, it makes us accurate and on time. All right. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I'm looking at all these things, man. These things are not coincidences. See? So therefore, it says 5 miles. Hold on, look at this. It says southeast. Okay?
Yeah.
Southeast 5 miles. That's Pentecost. Okay? And look, hold on. What day or dispensation is this, Doc? This is the 5th day and the 5th dispensation right here. Manifesting right here. When you see Moses and Yahshua the son of Nun and Moses removing this up out of Adam's chest cavity. Do you understand? This is the 5th dispensation manifesting right here. And it says spiritual kingdom of Yahshua on earth. Manifesting right here. Okay? Showing you the 5th dispensation. And then we have a V here because it is the Roman numeral 5. And we're revealing to you that this is the 5th dispensation. And it says 5 miles southeast. Now, when we look at this compass, it takes us right here. All right?
Yeah.
And then, hold on. So this is southeast, all right? The 5th dispensation, right? Now, look, it says that it was southeast of Dollar Point. That's slightly north of the center of the lake. So wait a minute. So now it says it was southeast, 5 miles. So we picked up the 5. We picked up the southeast. All right. And then it says slightly north. Okay. Into the center of the lake. So when it told you that we were southeast, you had to go a little bit north, all right, to get right here within the center. And so we did that because this is where we are right here. It said 5 miles southeast. So that put us right here. So it said come a little bit north and it put us right here within the center in a part of the lake. All right. You see that? A little bit north. Now I wrote this, man, and it was blowing my mind when I was reading these things, man. And it put us right in the center. And then when it says that it was southeast of Dollar Point, and then we come straight up here, all right, and we look right here pertaining to the Dollar Point, and this is showing forth how we have, let me do this because I'm not doing it no justice, man. Like I said, I think sometimes that you guys are here in the living room with me.
Oh, no, you just got there.
Okay. Now here, we're showing you these principles right here, all right? And I'm telling you, man, these things be remarkable. Okay. Now, I wanted to zoom in and show you these dollars up here, or these coins up here that was manifesting with Judas when he had betrayed the Messiah. And then we have these 30 pieces of silver manifesting right here that's falling right here, okay? And when he went and hung himself on the tree, all right? So therefore, this is picking up Dollar Point right here. You understand what I'm saying? See? South here, here's south, manifesting right here. Southeast of Dollar Point, and then come a little bit north to the center of the lake. Okay. Now, man, I'm just saying, You know, when I look at these things and I hear these things, man, that's where I am in the spirit. I be grateful and thankful to be able to see the principles, to be able to correlate them to the things that are happening within the news. I told you that news consists of, and let me share this with our viewers. News consists of, here with the north, our east, our west, and our south. This is the news that we are talking about. We explained to you within our last lecture that when the explanation of news that we gather from the whole entire world, okay, that is circumference based upon the north, east, west, and south, and the things that happen that are believed to be physiology or psychology or things or phenomenons that are unnatural that happen within the earth. That's why we have news, and they report these things. So when you see tornadoes and earthquakes and things of that particular nature that's showing forth things of mass destruction that are natural, that comes from nature, they call that news that need to be reported so that life can be preserved. All right? Because of something that's happened, like how they say no, a tsunami warning has been issued based upon the things or the earthquakes that were happening up under the water. Because one thing that if a tsunami warning is issued, because there was a tsunami, and this is just for an example for the sake of understanding, okay? A hypothetical scenario of suppose that there was a tsunami in the waters of Japan, all right, in the China Sea. And so therefore that tsunami was coming in, and they gave a warning to the people that were located in that area. It allowed preservation to be able to save them, to allow the people to get up out of there before the water sea come and destroy that particular area. As well as if that tsunami keep going, it will allow anybody, see that's within the way of that tsunami, to have a time period to preserve life. So this is the reason why that we have these things that are being reported all around the world, which we consider to be news. But what we do is, and the reason why we're saying that is because we come to this big compass, and we look at everything that is manifesting in the East, on all areas of East, on all areas of the West, of all of areas of the East, and all areas of the North, okay? Because it's all circumference based upon a compass of where the location of these events are occurring. So this is the reason why that when you hear reports, it is letting you know specifically where these areas are by the locations of north, east, west, and south. So now, pertaining to our ecologies, I wanted to share that. So now our ecologies, it takes us to Africa. And it is saying here that that within Africa, that thousands flee Gamma after two versions of eruption warnings. It says people have been rattled by aftershocks since one of the Africa's most active volcanoes of Mount New Ragongo spewed lava on May 22nd. At least 30 are dead. Thousands are made homeless, according to the United Nations. So now these people are still suffering from the things that they were suffering from pertaining to when that volcano had erupted. So now it is taking us back and showing you pertaining to why they are erupting, because it is giving you principles pertaining to the things that are pertaining to the inner portion of the tabernacle, which is the inner portion of the inner organic earth. So the things and the shiftings and the things that are manifesting within the earth are manifesting the principles of Yahshua, because Yahshua is the creator of everything that is manifesting upon the creation. And it is showing you that when he went in to the earth as a seed of vegetation, roll the waters back, allow the vegetation and everything to come back, that it is his spirit that is manifesting within the earth that is manifesting these things. So here we move on, and it takes us to Libya. Now here, this was really, really, man, I mean, when I read this, man, it really, really touched my heart. And, you know, if you could see the clippings of what was manifesting with this particular ecology, man, it still has us over here in Africa and this area here, okay? Just trying to zoom in so that I could make sense of this particular ecology. It says that in Libya, okay, that's, I guess, the best way to give it to you, that it is in this area here, okay, of Africa. We showed you how this is a manifestation of, you got Egypt down here. But when you're looking at this sea coast, you know, I would say that we would come maybe right here in this particular portion here, pertaining to how we understand that this is the Mediterranean Sea, all right? It says that over in Libya, and we just say that this is Libya, it says that dead children washed up on Libya beach, says Charity. It says at least 743 migrants are known to have died in the Mediterranean Sea. And it's that sea right here. This is the sea that we're talking about with when we got this dragon and we got this harlot sitting upon this beast manifesting itself right here within this Mediterranean Sea, all right? Showing you how, pertaining to the scriptures, how it says how the beast came up out of the sea, all right? Having 7 heads and 10 horns, okay? Manifesting right here. Now, when it is talking about how that this beast had rose up out of the water and gave its power unto the next beast, the dragon gave it to the beast, his power unto the beast, and we're revealing this to you. And it is talking about how it had 7 heads and 10 horns, and one of the heads was wounded. It is talking about how it is talking about Rome, okay? Because we understand that Rome is the city, all right, or the hidden name of Saturnia land, that it is upon. Right here, it says Rome's ancient name of Saturnia land, or the city Saturn, commonly known as Italy, abides upon 7 hills and contains the apothic number of 603 okay? And so this is the reason why that we have this right here, and we are showing you that this is the Mediterranean here. Now, pertaining to all these things that we were talking about, along with the scripture reading and things of that particular nature, it says that according to the UN International Organization for Migrants, it said there has been 630 recorded deaths in the central Mediterranean alone in 2021. So that means right here within this Mediterranean Sea, okay, that there have been 630 deaths, as well as the 740 that were known to drown right out here. Okay? And it says that compared with the 289 deaths for the whole sea in 2020. So they said that they had approximately 300 deaths in 2020 right out here within this sea pertaining to the same problem. Now, what's going on is that you got people from Libya, man, and over here in Africa that are getting, you know, those things, man, you know, those life preservers that they put around you, those little donuts.
Yeah, those rings. Yeah.
Yes, they are in those, traveling from Africa, trying to make it to Morocco and make it out here to Rome, man. And they are all in the water, and they are showing that the lifeguards are out there in boats, pulling them up out of the water with those little boats, with those little donuts on around their necks. And the people are tying babies to those things, man, putting babies on them, tying them on them, putting them in water, and they're pulling babies up off of those things, man. And this is the reason why that they had children dead washing up upon the shores, man.
Yeah, they're too small for those things.
And they are trying to get out here to Morocco. They're trying to get out here to Rome. And they're sitting up saying how they are on the Spain, the Spanish gate out here, trying to get over here to Rome, man, that some of the survivors that are making it all the way across this Mediterranean, all the way over here to Morocco or to Rome, man, from Africa, man. And they're leaving Libya, man, just getting in the waters, man, just doing it. You understand what I'm saying? And people are out there drowning. They said that there was a lady that was right out here, man, on the shore with her shirt pulled over her head, man, and spread eagle. You understand what I'm saying? And then the children, a 3-year-old child, man, laying in the sand with the face of the baby just laying in the sand face now. You understand what I'm saying? Because these people are trying to leave here and cross this Mediterranean, brother. So I just thought that I would share that with you pertaining to our ecologies. I pay attention to these things because they are very, very significant pertaining to the purpose of Yahweh Elohim. When we are looking at news and the things that are to come, they are very, very significant.
That's like the children of Israel trying to get out of Egypt, but the sea don't part.
And that is the same principle, the reason why I want to, direct attention to that. Because that's the same very thing, man. And what I'm trying to say is that here, let us go to the timetable, man. And that's what I'm talking about. And see, you picked up that before I could really even get into it. Because see, here, did Yahweh's chosen people, okay? Yahweh opened up the waters for them to be able to cross on dry land. You understand what I'm saying? And let's go here and see where we are in time. Because see, that supermoon that we had, or that eclipse, I told you that that lunar eclipse, man, like I said, I was ready to go. I thought we was up out of here. See? That takes us back, see? Because now it is the 28th, right here. It's showing that it is the 59th day pertaining to the sacred time. Our prophetic time, our sacred time is revealing how we're still in the second sacred month of Ayar or Ziph, which we understand to be May, where we are, all right? And then it is revealing how it is the 43rd day pertaining to when the children of Israel had crossed to and through the divided waters of the Red Sea. And this is our eternal time, or our Pentecost line. So now that you see right here that the numbers are getting red, all right? And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9 days right here, okay? Because these 9 days are revealing the countdown until we get to the 50th day pertaining to when the children of Israel came to and through the divided waters of the Red Sea and manifested themselves right out here, okay, at this mountain. So now where we are in time is that we are 9 days away from when the children of Israel had came up here and Yahweh Elohim has spoke down unto them. And this was the first nation of people to ever hear the creator of the stellar universe, okay, speak down unto a nation of people. This is the reason why that this is so important, because there is never reported no other place in time to where the creator that made this whole universe have ever spoke down unto a people. This is the reason why this is so important. Now we got 9 days until the anniversary of to where the Heavenly Father has spoken to a group of people, which we understand to be the Yahudite or Jewish people who are over here within the land of Israel today. All right? That people who Yahweh had took up out of the land of Egypt and took them through this trek and done all these divine things that are talked about, which we are looking at within the scriptures today. And then in fulfillment of that, Yahweh Elohim had sent his only begotten son in the manifestation or form of a man to fulfill the principles that happened with the first man that brought the creation down. All right? And we're talking about our progenitor, all right, that brought the creation down and allowed and populated the whole entire earth. So now we understand that pertaining to the principles that Yahshua Messiah had fulfilled pertaining to these things. And we look at how Yahshua had went through his death, burial, resurrection, ascension, and outpouring, see, of his Holy Spirit, see, on the day of Pentecost, which we are 9 days away from. So when we come back here to see what he did to fulfill that, the significance of it is all going into a spiritual manifestation based upon the reflect of what took place with the children of Israel. Because this one, Yahshua, which is the Messiah, was also a manifestation of Yahoshua, the son of Nun, who is manifesting here. This same one who is Yahshua, who manifested and transfigured himself right here on the mountain of transfiguration, was the same one who was up here with Moses when Moses had received the 10 Commandment law. So the same Yahoshua, which is here, is the same one who manifested himself 1490 years after, see, this manifestation here. Because we understand that the 490 years was establishment and building of this particular temple, and the 1,000 years of the building of this temple was up until the time that the Messiah was being born. Okay, so that's picking up the whole entire 1490 years, showing forth what we just talked about to bring the Messiah into, you see what I'm saying, the creation. And then him fulfilling these things pertaining to the things that happened, see, based upon the carnal ordinances that happened here, because he was here showing you. See, and then he crossed over and then gave the children of Israel their inheritance. And then he died up here at 110 years old. And then we're seeing that pertaining to the same dispensation that he remanifested himself again through the loins of the Virgin Mother Mary to fulfill the same principles of how that the man Adam was created from Virgin Mother Earth. All right, as the first Adam, and then this being the second Adam. And then we see pertaining to the things that Yahshua had went through based upon the things that had manifested here with the man and the woman, see, pertaining to when he was tempted, reveals how that this was the one or the second Adam to fulfill the principles that manifested with the first Adam and the things of both of them. See, right here, because see, we have to go back to what Yahweh Elohim said pertaining to his words, all right? That when we come here, we have to understand that when we see how, I apologize, don't have everything how I need it to be. No, I use this chart. Okay. And when we come here, and we see how that the woman was being tried by the adversary, that we understand that right here was a principle of a 40 principle, okay?
Okay.
And we understand that when we ask how long was the man and the woman within the garden, we say 40 days, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore the principle of when we come here, and we understand that the children of Israel, after they came to and through the divided waters of the Red Sea, was tried out here, and Yahweh tried and proved them for 40 years. All right. Mm-hmm. Now we understand that Pharaoh and his host, when they pursued the children of Israel, it was 600 chariots, horses, and men, which is the principle of 666, which we just got through reading, how that they were choked out right here in the sea. And it says that when we read over there in Exodus, the 15th chapter, how their dead bodies washed up on the shore. And how that the children of Israel and Miriam had sung the song of victory. Okay. So now when we coming back and we're looking at that, and then we see the principle of 40, and it is manifesting within the second heaven, because it says that the first heaven and earth passed away and that there was no more sea, that the principles pertaining to the man being within the garden of Eden was likened unto heaven. Yep. So this is the reason why that this plate is a degeneration plate, to where it is showing and revealing how it is coming down. So therefore, by this being a degeneration plate and showing how it is coming down, that when we pick up the principles pertaining to 40, that we can run 40 all the way across. We can run 40 here, here, and here. All right. We understand that pertaining to when Yahweh Elohim had told them to be fruitful and to multiply. Okay. That we understand that the 40 principle that had manifested up here, that that the 4 was that Noah had created a garden and had got drunken from his wine. All right, picking up the same principles that were manifesting here. Now, pertaining to when he was in the garden and he was drunken from his wine, that the 40 principle was that his son came in and seen his father's nakedness. Now, that was picking up the principle, see, of the 40 principle, because we understand the 40 principle based upon the transgression that had happened within the garden of Eden with the woman. So therefore, we understand that it was principled as a woman and a man. So therefore, we understand that when, let us go there on the 40 plate chart so that we can reveal these principles so that they will be a little bit more clear. Not even showing a better picture. Hold on a second. Okay, it was.
Okay.
All right. Now, we shared with you here that by Noah being within his vineyard, all right, it says Noah and his death. So we have Noah here, and here he is with his wife. It says that here that he was drunken within his wine, all right? Now here, by him being within the most holy place, we are principling this as the same principle as when we had shared with you about the man and the woman being in the garden for that particular amount of time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Which is manifesting here on this chart here. So what we're doing is looking at the principles pertaining to what had manifested here with the transgression and then what is manifesting here. So we understand that pertaining to that when they took, this was a manifestation of death because they took of the fruit of the vine. So the same principle we're manifesting here that he is not eating of the actual fruit, but he is taking the juice or the wine from the fruit and he is drinking it, consuming it, okay? Principle,
Okay.
same thing, all right? So therefore, by him being up here, and it said that when he was drunken, all right, that his elder son had came in and seen his nakedness, all right? Now, pertaining to the law, that when we come here and we're looking at the man and the woman, it said that the man and the woman was naked and they was not ashamed. When we go over there to Leviticus, all right, which means law, and we read pertaining to the nakedness of the father, that it says that when you're reading over there, the laws pertaining to Moses, that the nakedness of the father was his wife, all right? So here we see how they were naked and not ashamed. The elder came in and said that he's seen his father's nakedness. Now here you have the two other sons, the oldest and the younger son, coming in with his sheep, and then they're coming in and they're covering up their father's nakedness, all right? And then you have Ham right there, who was just out there looking, wasn't helping, but he was the one who told his other two brothers, okay? If you notice, what color is his trousers? What color is his trousers?
Red.
Right. Why is his trousers red? Because he is picking up the same principles of what we understand, to where we can go either way with that. To where when we come here to the first day of creation, and we see how Yahweh Elohim has separated or divided the light from the darkness, all right? And so therefore with that, we understand that with him having these red trousers, which are here, and we take it all the way down to the holy place, and we come to plate number 27. That here we see how that when the tempter had came to the Messiah here, we see that he is manifesting here in red, because this is revealed how that the satanic spirit has already been judged. And based upon him having red garments, see, it is revealing that he cannot return back into the kingdom here. Okay? You see that?
Yeah.
Showing that he cannot return back here. All right? So now that being said, that is the reason why that pertaining to these colors, and you see how they are red, that when we get into the purpose of Yahshua the Messiah or into the kingdom of Yahshua Messiah, and you are looking and you are seeing Satan here in red, all right? That is the explanation on when you are looking at the purpose, and then you hear how John is speaking over there within the prophecy. My glare is a little bit too much right there. Let me see if I can stop the glare. Okay, I can't. All right.
Well, you could turn the lights the other way.
Well, it's okay. We know we're just gonna stop the glare. So now when we come pertaining to the purpose, and when John is speaking, that is the reason why that you see this imagery here. And he says that I seen a big red dragon right here. All right. So this is the explanation, the reason why that you have a red dragon, and the dragon is red, because it goes all the way back based upon what we was talking about when we were running the principles, when we came to the Ishi chart, and we were manifesting these principles right here, when we were talking about the things which Yahshua said, when he said that he had seen this one fall from heaven through lightning. Okay. And we're talking about the Satan spirit, how that from heaven, see, he said he's seen Lucifer fall from heaven like lightning. All right. And we had showed you those principles. All right. So this is the reason why that we go over these things to reveal to you over and over again the same thing according to the prophecy, and reveal to you not only the imagery, but color of what's going on, so that you can be able to understand. So this is why that when we come all the way back here and we look at Noah and what was taking place pertaining to the vision, and we are looking at how the coloration is revealing how that he was manifesting principles of the satanic spirit, arcane, okay, right here. Now, when we look at this, and we come right down here, and then it says that this is the prophetic prophecy, a prophetic emergence of Noah when he is getting ready to prophesy the things pertaining to his sons right before he dies. All right. And here it reveals how that he says that Shem and Japhet, that the elder shall serve the younger, and both of them shall live within the tents. And then he had cursed Ham and Canaan. All right. So when he had cursed them, that is the reason why that we understand that the children of Israel were able to come up here and conquer this land. You understand?
Yeah.
Do you really? Now, see, this is the place of origin. We have to understand that they were right here in the beginning, because this is where the ark had resided, right up here on the mountains. All right. Now you see that the ark right there on the mountain? Slide it all the way over, brother. You see that tabernacle? You see that temple? And it's revealing the 1, 2, 3 things, the only 3 things that the Creator has instructed man to build upon the face of the earth. These are the only 3 items. And these items are up here on the mountains, okay? As well as if you see the items that he instructed man to build, and I'm talking about Noah's Ark, the tabernacle of Moses, and then the temple of King Solomon, all right? And then we see how that we have everything orchestrated and going by this threefold and intangible tabernacle, even the migration. Because what we are revealing to you that were based upon the things that this transgression that manifested here, that appears to be in the holy place, actually happened up here in the most holy place. And it's revealing to you that pertaining to how when you are looking at this, and it's the same compartment, that when this veil was rent in twain, that the most holy place and the holy place became one compartment. So this is the reason why that we're going back in time revealing this to you, because at this particular time, there was no tabernacle built. Okay. And we're just going by the more greater perfect tabernacle according to this tabernacle to be able to understand the principles of what's taking place pertaining to a degeneration. Okay. So now based upon this degeneration, and we're seeing what's transpiring right here. All right. It's the same thing that is transpiring when we went back and took you what happened within the Garden of Eden. So when we picked up that principle, okay, of 40 pertaining to how that he was drunken of his wine and the sun came in and seen his nakedness, and we take it all the way back to show you how the man was in the garden naked and not ashamed, and then he is walking up in here seeing his father nakedness, okay? So that's the same thing. And so therefore, when we look at that, and this happened up here when they had got out of the ark, and he says, cursed be Canaan. And then we look at here that this is Canaan's land. All right. Yeah. The transgression of what he did happened up here in the most holy place. So it is likened unto how he lost his inheritance, because he said, cursed be Canaan. And so therefore, this was Canaan's land. He lost his inheritance to the sons of his brother Shem and Japhet. All right. Yeah. Because see, we are the children of Japhet. Japhet was a descendant. See, Abraham was a descendant of Japhet. All right. When we trace it,
that's like when Cain, after Cain killed Abel, Cain built a city. So when
and gave it to his son,
Canaan, that city up there in the most holy place.
That's right.
Israel conquered.
That's right. So now let us go back so we can reveal to you what Dr. Johnson is talking about. So therefore, when we are showing you the principles here, when you see how Enoch is sitting upon I'm sorry, not Enoch. This is the city of Enoch, and we have Cain sitting upon the throne in the city of Enoch. That's what I was trying to say. So therefore, we're seeing how this is a manifestation up here within the most holy place in regards to what happened here. And we're seeing how this spirit had got into this man, and look and see how the Garden of Eden was a utopia, and then he created one like it unto it himself. And then this is the reason why that after he had entered into the man and then showed that vision unto his woman and came up here and then allowed it to manifest. Okay. So we can even say that this was a manifestation that had took place for some odd 400 years. Okay. Or if you want to say 40 years for him going up here and establishing the city of Enoch. It has to be a principle of 440 or 400 or 4,000. Now, we can even use the principle of 400 because we know pertaining to man that man lived a very long time at this particular time. You understand what I'm saying? Here it is showing him being a very young man. So if we said that this was 430 years that when he established this, you see what I'm saying, which was an abomination likened unto how he had tried to duplicate the Garden of Eden. And then we bring this reflect all the way down and show you how this had manifested within the most holy place, likened unto being the Garden of Eden. And then we reflected how the city of Enoch was likened what you said to Canaan's land, and showing you how that, see, Yahweh just had destroyed the city of Enoch, or this particular time, because everything that was manifesting here within the city, and he destroyed it by the flood. All right. Yeah. So after he did that, now we come over here and seeing this manifestation right here with the prophecy of Noah. He just said, cursed be Canaan. And so this is why Canaan's land lost his inheritance right here. All right. And then what happened is that when we're seeing how that the younger son, okay, which is Japhet, and we're seeing how Abraham is a descendant from Japhet, and this had manifested to reveal how Ham or Canaan had lost his inheritance. See, this is the reason why that through Abraham's seed, that when we see what happened with Esau and Jacob was the same manifestation of what happened here pertaining to the curse of Noah, when he said cursed be Canaan, and they lost their inheritance. Because Yahweh Elohim knew that pertaining to the seed, okay, which Japhet had bared Abraham, that he said that right here, that your seed shall go down, see, and be evilly entreated for some odd 400 years based upon a nation who they not know. Okay. Why is that? Because it is coming all the way back pertaining to when Yahweh Elohim told them when they came up out of the ark to be what? Fruitful and multiply. So therefore, by them being fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, you understand what I'm saying? And he said, cursed be Canaan. Therefore, with that seed and that curse came through, we see how that manifestation of that curse that Noah had cursed Canaan or Ham and his seed didn't manifest until after, see, this seed had manifested with Abraham. And remember, pertaining to the prophetic names and the prophetic records, we understand that pertaining to Noah and Abraham, that when Noah was 950 years getting ready to die, that Abraham was 75 years old. So they said that it was not an impossibility for Abraham to be able to talk with Noah at this particular time, to be able to understand the things pertaining to the sacred records. Okay. So when we're looking at the lineage and we understand that Abraham came from the youngest son of Noah, and we're seeing what happened pertaining to where he said, cursed be Canaan, and then the children of Israel pertaining to the promise that Yahweh had given unto Abraham, saying that this was a 400-year manifestation. So therefore we take that 400 years.
Like plate 24 over a little, sorry.
No, thank you. That way?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. So when we were talking about the principles of what was happening here and this being destroyed, and then when we come back here and then we see how that the children of Israel, remember this was a promise, and see Abraham was up here. Now this was Canaan lands then, but we understand that even though that this was Canaan land, that Melchizedek was the king of Salem, okay, or the king of Jerusalem, this place up here. All right. So it had a king. All right. And so for pertaining to this blessing, see that it had to take 400 years for after this blessing here to come down. All right. And then his seed from Isaac to go down to Jacob. All right. And then Jacob manifesting the children of Israel. And then them coming out here because the first heaven and earth passed away. There's no more sea, and they are out here, and they are innumerable. All right. And then the same thing that manifested, see, within the garden, and we come right here, all right, is manifesting right here. Because we understand that when we see how that, boy, man, I just be looking at these things and I just be like, wow, Yahweh, he never stops. That when we come here,
Never,
man. And we looking at how that the woman was taken up out of the man here is the same manifestation of how we see these banners all the way around, see this tabernacle. The tabernacle is a representation of a man because this is the son of Elohim, and Yahweh Elohim says, make me a sanctuary so that I, Yahweh, may dwell amongst my people. All right. We understand that pertaining to when the children of Israel came out here, which we are 9 days away, and then Yahweh has spoke down to them, and he spoke down these law, statute, judgment, and ordinance, that they said that everything that Yahweh say, we will do. They came right here. All right.
Yep. Yahweh being the first preacher.
Exactly. All right. The first sermon. All right. God Almighty has spoke down into a group of people. And so therefore, you know, we go in the scriptures and we get a lot of things, see, to bring us back right here to where we say that there was a day, see, when the sons of Elohim, you know what I'm saying, brought themselves to present themselves before Yahweh. You understand what I'm saying? Now that has never stopped. See, and when it says that there was a day when the sons of Elohim have presented themselves before Yahweh, that takes us all the way back to what plate, Dr. Johnson? Plate number 16. See, let me see if I got a better one. Why is that? Because with Cain and Abel, the two twins, that was a day when the sons of Elohim had to do what? Present themselves before him. Okay. See? And so therefore, when Cain presented himself before Yahweh, he brought fruit. But Abel, he brought blood because he understood that it was blood to forgive the atonement that manifested right up here. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, that was the day when Yahweh, that man had to present themselves before Yahweh, because the same thing had manifested up here with the woman and the man.
Yep.
Why? Because we come here and the scripture says that, see, when we come here, we look at this, it's the beauty of it, see. Now it's manifesting evening time or dark time or nighttime.
Yeah.
It says within the evening or the cool of the day that the voice of Elohim cried out unto the man and said, Adam, Adam, where art thou? All right. So that is showing and revealing to you the origin or the etymology, you know what I'm saying, or etymology of when the sons of Elohim, because Adam, see, is the created son of Elohim. Okay. And so therefore, when he had spoke and cried out unto the man, Adam, where art thou? That was a day when the sons had to present themselves before Yahweh Elohim. And he said that he called their name Adam. So therefore, it is revealing how that when he had took this carnal ordinances as the circumcision of Adam and brought the woman and took the woman up out of the man, that she is a son too, because their name is called Adam. And then that was the day when they had to present themselves before Elohim. Okay? And then he says, where art thou? He says, I hid myself. He says, why did you hide yourself? He says, because I was naked, so I hid myself. And then he asked him, who told thou that thou was naked? And then he's looking at these fig leaves around his loins. And then that was just ridiculous unto Yahweh Elohim, because the man and his wife was naked and they was not ashamed. So the whole point of the matter of it is that if it's just you two, you was naked before, you understand what I'm saying? Why is it that you were so ashamed that you realize that you're naked now? See?
Because the knowledge of good and evil was manifest in them. So they knew all the rules of being naked is wrong, so they got ashamed.
Well, you have to understand that it says that when she had looked at this tree,
To desire for to be one wise.
And then when you look at that, you have to understand. And I want to say this to you, just like this. Now, what was quote the scripture again?
To one to make one wise.
Oh, go over there and get it in the 3rd chapter. Let's go over there and get it. Let's go over there and get it. Let's get some scripture. Let's just
I don't want to chop it up too much.
Right. Let's just get some scripture. You know, we're talking on the level. Go ahead.
Was that chapter 3?
3rd chapter.
Yeah.
Try
That was
24.
3rd and 6th.
Wherever it is, go ahead, blast off.
Okay, Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. Actually, I'm going to start on 4. And the serpent said unto the woman,
Start there.
Yeah. So, I'm going to just start at 3 and 1.
Yeah.
This won't take long. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made.
Now stop right there.
Because this reason why I started at that train of thought, because it's a lot right here.
Of course, and that's why I said start there.
Okay.
And when we come here, we are revealing to you the whole entire creation. All right? We're showing you from day 1, day 2, day 3.
Wow.
We're showing you day 4. And then we're showing you day 5 with all the creation, all the animals. Okay? And then we're showing you the 6th day right here. And then we're showing you the woman, all right? So we're showing you all these things. And Yahweh had created everything. And so therefore we have a serpent, which is a reptile, that was created on the 5th day of creation. And then on the 6th day of creation, it is showing you how that it is speaking about these animals and even the man, because it says that man is a beast that was created on the 6th day. Okay? So now we're not really understanding what it is saying right there, because it said that the serpent was more subtle than the creation of Yahweh. Okay? Than any beast of the field. All right? So he was more subtle or more smarter than any beast of the field, but he was not smarter than the man Adam. Why? Because Yahweh Elohim, or the spirit of Yahweh, was manifested within Adam. And he was what? The son. All right. And then in essence, because we understand that Adam was a physical manifestation of the Father based upon the principles of what happened within the realm of eternity. So therefore, it says that the man Adam was not deceived. Okay? But all the other beasts of the field was deceived. Even that which came up out of the man, and I'm going back to the woman because the woman was a beast too.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's sharing right there that he was more smarter than anything that was created besides the man who was in the image and likeness of Yahweh Elohim.
Yep.
All right? So now, going back to the principles of what we was talking about, that this here showing forth the man is revealing the exterior, and then the woman is manifesting the interior. All right? Why? Because the woman was taken up out of the man. All right? So now when we're looking at these principles, that's the reason why that the Messiah, he had to go through the things and fulfill the things of the woman, because he is the interior of Yahweh Elohim. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why when we're looking at the man and said that the man was not deceived, this is the exterior and the woman is the interior. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why the spirit of Yahshua Messiah got to be in you. You understand? See, so that's why we go back to these principles, because the garden reveals everything. So that's why we right here. Go ahead and read, Doc.
And he said unto the woman, hath Elohim said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
So now when this tree right here was resurrected, all right, and the serpent, it says that the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Now here's the serpent. The serpent's manifesting right here on the tail of the dragon, all right?
Yeah.
We already showed you how he said that he would try to ascend above the stars of El. Here go the stars of El right here, right? Here go the stars of El right here in the north and right here in the chest cavern. He's trying to ascend above the stars of El. Yeah, whatever, all right? So, so now it says that he was more subtle than any beast of the field. So now we have to understand that the beast of the field, or the one who was in the field, was the woman, okay? Because of the principles that we picked up that are manifesting with that. Now she told him, you see her mouth is open, and she said that we may eat of all the trees of the garden, except the tree that's within the midst, talking about this one. Nor can we touch this tree, lest ye die, okay? Now that's what she said. Now this is the interior of the man that was speaking, okay, to the serpent, all right?
Yep.
The interior, that's why Yahshua is the interior. So now the reason why I'm doing this, because it's very, very important. You know that it's pertaining to the kingdom of Yahshua the Messiah. I said the manifestation changed, but the principle remains the same. You understand what I'm saying? Now I have already showed you pertaining to the principles, okay, within the kingdom of Yahshua the Messiah. When we went over there and we explained to you the principles, first off, that was in plate 32, and we're showing you right here how it was the washing and regenerations of the soul. Because right here, it is showing you how the spirit is cleaning the feet of this particular soldier that's manifesting right here. Okay? That's manifesting right here. All right? So now we've told you that pertaining to the blood, water, and spirit, you understand what I'm saying? That is manifesting within the body of Yahshua the Messiah. It's picking up the principles of how Yahshua had done this to remove the sins of the world. Okay? And this darkness, which we see that's going all the way around the edges of this particular chart. So now when we're showing you how that the blood, the water, and the spirit, okay, which is pertaining to Yahshua, and he went through his death, his burial, his resurrection, and ascension, and then the outpouring of his Holy Spirit, that when we went back here to plate number 36 on the vision, that these principles are showing and revealing the principles here, blood, water, and spirit. Let me focus in. No, it's not that one. I'm just trying to find why I'm getting so much glare. Okay. And when we coming back here, and we were talking about how that blood, see, and you got water. And we shared with you how blood is synonymous to fire, because when you are looking at, and I'll just go here for fire, that when you're looking at how you got blood and then you got water, that it says here that it's pertaining to the altar of sin sacrifice, and this is the brazen laboring, all right? Because these are picking up the principles within the court roundabout, but this is showing you the tabernacle of the more greater tabernacle, which is heaven and earth, okay, or the creation. But it's going forth pertaining to the principles of the tabernacle pattern. Now, therefore, when we understand how that the blood here is manifesting the blood of Yahshua because he was a sacrifice to take away the sins of the world, that here it is picking up blood and fire. And then here it is showing you that when it's picking up the principles of water, that it is not blue, but it is white. And then here it is gold when it is saying spirit. Now, the reason why it is showing you that these colorations, because now after the death, burial, and resurrection of Yahshua the Messiah, see, and it is showing you how the three that bear record in heaven are the three that bear record on the earth plane, as well as the three that bear record within the man, because man is principle puma, psyche, and soma. You know what I'm saying? Soul, body, and spirit. Okay? So therefore, with those principles, and we take them all the way back here to the days of creation, that we revealed to you that here with the redness, and we were showing you how that this was revealing how that this was a man shall be joined unto his wife and becoming one flesh here, pertaining to the principles. And we showed you that our Yahweh, our Elohim, is a consuming fire. So if you open him up, that his woman, or the theosophy, which was his sexual pleasure of the spirit, would be fire. So here we're revealing to you the principles of fire and water, and revealing to you pertaining to the kingdom how that fire and water is equal. So therefore, this is going according to the pattern. But then when we look here and we're seeing how that we have this, which is spirit law, which is bringing forth the creation. And then after the creation, we are showing you how that Yahshua Messiah had went through his death, burial, resurrection. And then we are revealing to you based upon how when he had came down, and we're showing you here, because it says that I am come down, that when he has come down all the way down to the earth plane, and we were showing you these principles, that his principles that when he came down was blood and water. Why? Because it's blood and water here. And then down here within this compartment, it is a manifestation and representation of blood and water. All right. Yep. So when you see how it is the kingdom here, which is blood and water, or fire and water, blood and water is manifesting here. And he is revealing how that when it came up out of his side and that it went into spirit, and then how he had ascended up into heaven, that all the principles that are manifesting here, when we are looking at how we have mother, father, and then their offspring, which was manifesting right here, see, that when it's pertaining to his kingdom, how that the principles changed. Okay? So now we see how the blood, water, and spirit, what is manifesting here, to get an understanding of what this is now pertaining to the kingdom of Yahshua the Messiah, because it has changed. And now the scripture says, can you go over there, I believe, in the first chapter of Colossians, when it talks about the kingdom of his dear son? Do you know where that is over there in the, I believe it's Colossians, maybe 1 and 15?
Let's see. Okay, Colossians 1 and 15.
What does it say?
The image of the invisible L.
Read.
Cause of all creation.
Read.
Okay. Verse 16. For by him were all things created. Actually, right. 15. Who is the image of the invisible L, the first cause of all creation? For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him.
Okay, I apologize. Go up and start at verse 12. We'll start there.
12? Okay. Verse 12. Giving thanks unto the Father, which hath
go ahead.
Which have made us meet to be partakers
I'm going to go here to
of the inheritance of the saints in the light.
Now wait a minute. Now you ain't got to say no saints. We ain't no saints. We sons.
Oh yeah, sons in light.
That's right. Now let me put this down here. Now it says we give thanks, okay, unto the Father. That this fiery cloud that goes all around the edges of this chart is to show you that everything abides within the pure spirit state of Yahweh. So this fiery cloud all the way around is a representation of the Father, okay? Father Yahweh, Yahweh, that the creation abides within Yahweh or eternity, all right? That's what is a manifestation of the Father, okay? Now this is the Son, all right? Now we are showing you how that this is the Father and this is the Son. We use principles of how that we revealed how that here when you see the man Adam, or Elohim, that this fiery cloud, we use principles that this being the dust of the ground that formulated the man here, all right? So we just wanted to show you those principles. So now we are showing you that thanks unto the Father. Go ahead, read.
Oh, okay. In whom we have redemption through his blood.
Stop. So we have redemption through his blood. We showed you that when you stuck him in the side, that this red portion right here, and this red portion right here, and everywhere that you see from this part right here is a representation of his blood, to where it is coming out right here, manifesting itself upon this tree of the knowledge of good and of evil, and turning into fire, which is also manifesting the 63 generations of his blood coming to and through the divided water sea of the Red Sea. All right. So the rest of it that you see, are the blue portion, is the water, because we understand that when he stuck him in the side, that out forth came blood and water. So when you see the water and the redness right here, it is representation of the blood and water to forgive the sins of the world, and was the atonement for the world that by the piercing of him being in the side. Read.
Even the forgiveness of sins. Who is the image of the invisible El.
Who is in the image of the invisible El, okay? He is the express image of the invisible El, all right? He is the image of the invisible El. Why? Because we understand that Yahshua, the son of Nun, okay, was Moses' minister, who took him up into Mount Sinai and transfigured before him. All right. So this is how we understand that this one who was Yahshua the Messiah was in the image of the invisible El. And so therefore that takes us all the way back to where when we go back to the migratory trek chart, and we see that when the children of Israel came into the mountain, and he took up Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and the 70 of the elders, and they said that they seen the God of Israel, and how he stood upon a sapphire stone. You understand what I'm saying? They gave a description of how he had feet, he had hands, and things of that particular nature, but yet and still he was invisible. You understand what I'm saying? That they just seen the appearance of a man. Read.
Who is the image of the invisible El, the first cause of all creation.
And so therefore, this is the first cause of all creation right here, because we go all the way back over there, see, to Revelation, see, 3 and 14, see, to where it says that this was the first cause of all creation. So Elohim is the first cause of all creation. Read.
For by him were all things created.
And for by him all things were created. And we went through the whole entire creation to show you that from this manifestation, how that he took on this ontological manifestation as a dove. And we call it a ornithological, a super incorporeal ornithological being, because it is a bird from the ornithological kingdom. Ornithological kingdom is pertaining to birds or winged fowl animals. So therefore, in this manifestation of this dove, you understand what I'm saying? This is a manifestation of the invisible El, okay? And what he is doing, he is the first creation of all things. And this is him who had created the creation in this manifestation here. All right, read.
That are in heaven and that are in earth.
Okay, so he is the first cause of all creation for those things who are created here. We come here and we show you how that these are the things that are in heaven. And it is talking about pertaining to the angelic creation. We come here and revealing to you how that he is the first cause of all creation. He's the first cause, all right? You cannot separate the unity of the spirit, because this is his first manifestation. This is, we told you that this is the exterior and this is the interior, all right? So therefore, if this is the first cause of all creation, we are coming here and seeing how this is the first cause, and then everything is created after the fact, after him. And then everything within the kingdom that is manifesting within heaven and on earth. He is the first cause of all creation, because here's the earth, likened unto that sapphire stone that he was standing on. All right, read that.
Whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers.
Wait a minute. Let's go here now. It says principalities and powers. Now we're talking about something now. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now it says above all thrones. Let's go here to that throne right there. I'm gonna stay here at the camera. I'm gonna focus in. He said all thrones. There goes the throne right there. What we talking about? Throne we talking about throne of Pharaoh right here. We're talking about the throne of Cain in the city of Enoch. We're talking about the apostasy over there in the Vatican, the viceroy, the son of God, and we're also talking about Pharaoh. Any and every manifestation of principles of authority, throne, and then his dominion, okay? And principalities in high places, which we come up and we see how that the principalities in high places, see, are principalities. You understand what I'm saying? That when we look at that, see, the principalities, that we are revealing to you, these are the principalities right here, okay? Manifesting this satanic spirit right here, see?
Yep.
Wow. I don't be thinking I'm doing that justice, man. Let me try to move this camera over just a little bit here. Okay. See, and picking up them principalities. Go ahead, Doc.
Whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him.
Now, all things were created by him and for him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Read.
And he is before all things, and in him all things have been permanently placed.
Whoa. So now we already told you that everything abides within the pure spirit state of Yahweh, and then we showed you that day by day sequence of how that he is the one who had created the whole entire creation. And here it is saying that he is the one, the reason why everything is permanently placed the way that they are. Read.
And he is the head of the body, the assembly, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead.
Whoa. Stop. The firstborn from the dead. Now, why did he say the firstborn?
He's before all things.
Stop.
Okay.
Now, see, I wanted to stop right there because that was very, very important.
Okay.
Now, the reason why that I said that he was the first, all right, because that takes us back to our scripture lesson. When we were over there in the 13th chapter of Revelations, and then it says how that this bastard right here, see, you see that head right there? That was one of the heads, see? That little head right there was showing forth how that was the deadly head that had a deadly wound that was healed. Okay. All right. Now when we go back to, I'm gonna go here to Revelations, the 13th chapter.
Okay.
And then when I go here, to where it says on the 3rd verse, where I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered at the beast. So now we're talking about, you know what I'm saying, his deadly wound, you understand what I'm saying, of the beast, and then it was healed, to where it showed forth how that apparently he must have resurrected from the dead. So that's why the scriptures are very, very specific, saying that he was the firstborn from the dead. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have to understand the words of this one saying that I will be like the Most High.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, when we go here, see, and I got to go here because it's very important, to the second day of creation. All right? And then we look at the principles of how, let me go here, see. Let's see, we have to do this so that our viewers will understand what we're talking about pertaining to this purpose and these principles that we're running. Because if we don't show these principles and reveal how of what's manifesting within the scriptures, then you will lose sight of things that will manifest and that will come, okay? And then you won't be able to see it because you say, well, where did this happen anywhere else in the creation? All right? Now, if we're talking about the first fruits, all right, of those that resurrected from the grave, and that was Yahshua Messiah, all right, that we have to remember the principles here. And here, if this is the eye of Yahweh, beholding the good and the evil. And then we're seeing how that both spirits are manifesting themselves and penetrating the earth plane to reveal to you how that you had here a tree of knowledge of good and of evil and the tree of life, pertaining to both mysteries penetrating the earth plane and manifesting here. So therefore, if we are revealing to you and showing you how both mysteries are penetrating the inner organic earth, terra firma, you understand what I'm saying? And then both principles are manifesting here with trees. Then it is evident how when we get down here and we showed you how that the spirit of Yahweh had entered into Adam, and then we showed you how that the spirit of the devil had entered into Canaan. All right? So therefore it is showing you principles of life being manifested based upon how that if Adam was the first, Cain was the second. Okay? And Cain was the one to show you how that Lucifer is trying to be like the Most High. Okay? And I'm just going to make it simple. And that's the only way that I can simplify that. All right? So now let's go back to the vision being revealed at hand. All right? And we're going to pick up the principles. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue. All right? So now you go ahead, Dr. Johnson, and continue to read.
Back to Colossians.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You ought to be on verse 13.
Let's see.
You just read 12. You ought to be on verse 13.
Okay. Colossians.
Yes, sir. 113.
Okay, I was on 18 actually.
Okay, but I want you to, my principle what I was trying to get was verse 13, how we was in the kingdom of his dear son.
Okay.
And I was trying to bring up that principle. That's why I told you to start at 12. And if we have passed it, then it's fine. But I wanted you to reiterate that. You read verse 12. I wanted you to start at 12 again, run through that, and then just pick up 13 to reveal how that we are in the kingdom of his dear son, and then we'll run the other principles of when we get down to verses 18, 19, and 20. Okay.
Okay. Colossians 1 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
Giving thanks unto the Father,
right,
which hath made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the sons in light.
Now here's the sons right here, sons of Elohim, and they are the sons of light. Now we are able to partake of the inheritance of the sons of Elohim. Why? Because of the death, burial, and resurrection of Yahshua Messiah. So therefore, here go the sons, and they are going into the Son, are resurrecting with the sons because they are the sons of light. And so we are meet to be partakers with them. Okay? Yep. Tell them why. Doc, read.
Who have delivered us from the power of darkness.
Stop. Now, all this darkness that's going all the way around the edges of this chart, how we have been delivered from this darkness with the sons of light. Okay. All right. We delivered from this darkness with the sons of light. Why? Because we're standing in the holy place. That's what it's talking about. That's why it's light here. That's why John said that there's no need of the sun, because the Father and the Son is the light thereof. We showed you that pertaining to the Father, that in the beginning he said, let there be light. And the light here on the first day of creation was a reflection of what manifested on the fourth day of creation. All right. And that is a manifestation of the Son, because he is the true light of the sun. And the S-O-N and the S-U-N is one and the same. So this is why John is looking back and saying that the Father and the Son is the light thereof, because here in the Father, he said, let there be light in the Father. Okay. And then here with the Son, he got the Son in his chest. Okay. Read.
And have translated us into the kingdom of his dear son.
Stop it. So therefore, right there, we have been translated. All right, translated into this kingdom, okay, of his dear son, which is his body. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, since we have been translated into his kingdom, you understand what I'm saying? Then therefore, the principles of how we ran before pertaining to man and wife and son, and bringing forth the whole entire creation has now changed pertaining to blood, water, and spirit because of him, to fulfill the principles that had manifested pertaining not only the days of creation and when he was subjected unto this darkness, you understand what I'm saying, but allowed the things to manifest from the creation, okay, the creation age to manifest all the way through up into here, all right, and then had translated us into the kingdom of his dear son after the death, burial, and resurrection of Yahshua the Messiah. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the importance of that. Go ahead and read, Doc.
In whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins.
So now the sins that we have committed, that based upon through his blood, that we have been forgiven our sins by his blood, because he was the only acceptable sacrifice unto Yahweh to take away the sins of the world. How the children of Israel had to take sacrifices to the apothecary, or that threefold intangible tabernacle, or that was constructed by Moses, because they had broke a law and had to bring a sacrifice for the forgiveness of their sins. So Yahweh was not well pleased with that, because sacrifices and offerings thou doest not, because Yahweh wasn't pleased with that. You understand what I'm saying? So he did away with that. Okay, by what? Offering his only begotten son, because he so loved the world. But everybody do not understand before the reason why Yahweh Elohim had given his only begotten son for the whole entire world, because when you break it down, that he gave his son for his bride. See? You understand that?
Yep.
That he gave his son for his bride? Now, we just showed you pertaining to the scriptures when we showed you about interior and exterior. You understand what I'm saying? And we revealed to you, see, that the interior was the woman of the man. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, if we come here and show you how that this is the exterior and the interior, and it says that he gave his only begotten son for the whole entire world, which is exterior and interior. And when we come here and we see how this is the interior, that is pertaining to the woman. You understand? So when it says that he gave his only begotten son because he so loved the world, it was his bride. And so therefore, when we look at the principles that had manifested within the garden with the woman and the man, you understand what I'm saying? And it says that he gave his only begotten son because he gave his only begotten son because he so loved the world. And we understand the principles that are manifesting right here, that when we come back and see how that the world was the interior, and this is the reason why that he had to manifest the interior to fulfill the principles of the bride or the interior, so that he stands here as the interior. You understand what I'm saying? And he is our intercessor, because the intercessor here in the beginning, see, didn't have the substance to be able to withstand the wiles of the adversary. Okay? Read.
Who is the image of the invisible El, the first cause of all creation. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things.
Right.
And in him all things have been permanently placed.
That's right.
And he is the head of the body, the assembly, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have the preeminence among all. For it pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell.
So it pleased the Father that in him all the fullness should dwell within him. Okay? And that is the reason why that we live, move, and have our being right within him. Read.
And having made peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him, I say, whether they be things in earth or things in heaven. And you that were once alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now hath he reconciled.
That's right. He quickened and he had reconciled through this cross, so that here, the only acceptable sacrifice will allow us, see, to receive our inheritance with the sons of life. So this is why that we go through all these principles. and reveal them to you pertaining to when we are talking about the interior, exterior, and what Yahshua Messiah had came in to do. See, that is the importance of these particular things when we are running these principles. See,
Yep.
so, you know, really hope that you understood that. And we wanted to reveal to you that pertaining to the kingdom of Yahshua Messiah, see that you got a copycat out there that's trying to be like the Most High. He's trying to do any and everything that he see the Father do. See? And that's how he's going to come in and he's going to be able to deceive many. You understand? Pertaining to what it was talking about, see, within the scriptures. But see, what you got to do is understand that the manifestations change, but the principle will remain the same. You understand what I'm saying? See, you got to look for every principle. You understand what I'm saying? Because see, he can't fulfill he said, I will be like. So if you're looking, see, on the exterior instead of the interior, you might be fooled. See, and see, that's what we're trying to relate to you, that you have to look beyond the veil of the flesh. You have to look beyond the outer veil. Because if not, it will fool you. You understand what I'm saying? And so therefore, when we say that Yahweh Elohim changes not, he don't change.
No.
So whatever it is that he done in the beginning, he's going to do in the end. And that's how you know Yahweh Elohim. See, because he said that his word would not come back unto him void. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, when you're looking at the principles pertaining to Yahweh Elohim, and then you're looking at the principles pertaining to the satanic spirit, it will be easy for you to determine, like it says, that he who has an ear to hear, let him hear. He who have eyes to see, let him see. Okay? Because everybody that believe in Yahshua ain't gonna be saved. And I'm just gonna let it, be known. Because you got to understand that there are those, see, whose names were not written within the book of life and the Lamb's book of life before the foundation of the world. So it's going to be many people that are going to be deceived, see, by Lucifer, because he appeared as an angel of light. You understand?
Yep.
And so I'm saying that with the hopes based upon upcoming events, that one can truly, truly see how these scriptures are getting ready to manifest. And you people who say that you are the believers of Yahweh Elohim, how it's going to affect you in your lives, as well as it's going to affect the whole entire world. Because the fate of the world is relying on the things that manifest with us. And we call ourselves people or members of the institute, our institutors, okay? So what I'm really trying to let you know, that we are really, truly the children of God, are the sons of the Creator, having this spiritual war on this earth plane, to where it does not have anything to do with physical weapons, because weapons of mass destruction is not what we use to fight this war. But yet it is the most dangerous, deadliest war that there is in the world. And all the physical wars that you hear taking place within the world, that they're using guns, machine guns, and bombings and things of that particular nature, is only a type of the war that is manifesting within our school system. So that war that manifested in heaven is truly manifesting here on earth with us. So that is really one of the reasons why you hear and see me teaching and preaching the things that I am pertaining to the kingdom of Yahshua the Messiah. But I have to take you through the whole entire creation and show you the Father's kingdom so that you can be able to understand the Son's kingdom, okay? And I have to take you through the creation so that you can be able to understand these things, because like I said, the manifestation will change, but the principle will remain the same. Rules of engagement, very important, pertaining to our perception and direction exam. And to let you know that these are the things that are right here, within this textbook. This little textbook right here. See, like I said, little but powerful. Okay? Very, very powerful. See, and these ologies that it says that are all around this tabernacle within the middle of this textbook. See, when we get here and show you, man, I'm telling you, you need to read these ologies. This is the reason why we say that the students that are within our school system aren't no dummies, because we have to not so much as master those ologies, but it is good that if we do. But at the same time, have validity of those ologies to be able to run it according to a threefold intangible tabernacle with 9 furnishings and 7 functions. Okay? So with the null, it manifests the principle of number 16 and 1 and 6 to 7, manifestation of perfection all the way through. So with those principles, okay, and with the things that we are talking about, you can see how the validity of the things that we talk about are factual, okay? And has a lot of validity because we just showed you pertaining to the sacred, prophetic, and eternal calendar and Yahweh's timetable. Because that's the time we on. We ain't on our time. We are on his time. Okay?
Yeah.
So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end our lecture for this evening. I hope based upon just some of the things that we were going over, that they were enlightening and beneficial to you. And that is our main endeavor and goal, is that you learn something, that you can be able to see the principles pertaining to the purpose of Yahweh Elohim, and then to acknowledge where you are in time. And I'm just trying to reveal to you that we are in the kingdom of Yahshua the Messiah and the beauty of it, okay? So that being said, let me read the Doxology, which is Romans, the 16th chapter, verses 25 through 27, and it reads as follows.
Okay.
Now unto him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel, and the preaching of Yahshua the Messiah, according to the revelation of the mysteries, which was kept secret since the world began, but now is made manifested by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandments of the everlasting Elohim, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. To Yahweh only wise be glory through Yahshua Messiah forever. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Well, this is another one that we made it through based upon, the current events, our upcoming super lunar eclipse, and the things that are taking place. Oh, and there was one thing else that I wanted to share as well.
Okay.
That right before we leave, that when we gave you here this sequence here, we want to share with you something that is very, very important. When we were revealing to you this here, oops, yeah, I'm gonna get in here like that. There we go. Now, when we were showing you here that this is where we are in time, this is the 28th day of May. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were showing you that from this point on, and we were giving you the first 9 days up until here. Okay, 9 days, because 10th day is the first day, and we have to give you 9 days because on the 9th day, which is 0, we understand that the numbers do what? They repeat themselves. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here is the 50th day from the 9-day countdown. And here we are right here on the 43rd day when the children of Israel came out of Egypt. And this is our eternal line. That when we are here and we're showing you this, leading up to the day of Pentecost, or when the Creator has spoke down unto the children of Israel. Now we got right here that these are the 1, 2, 3 days that they had to wash and clean themselves and not go into their wives before they came here and heard Yahweh Elohim speak down to you. So we got these days here that is manifesting the 48th, the 49th to the 50th day. All right. And then we here, all right, on the 43rd, picking up the 9 days. Now, the reason why that I went over that so much, and I wanted to be clear, is because of something that is manifesting right here. Oops. No. There we go. There we go, right here. Okay. I want to come back a little bit so you kind of understand what I'm looking at, what you're looking at. Now, when you come here, we're showing you that right here is the 4,000 day, all right, beginning of the 4,000. Here is revealing the eclipse because that is when we take or we start time pertaining to the eclipse season, which starts the Saros cycle, all right, which allows the fourth day of creation to manifest the way it do within the universe, all right? Now, when we come here and we're showing you that from the time that the woman was taken up out of the man, here is the 14 days to show forth. It was 2 weeks pertaining to the time in the beginning when the woman was taken up out of the man, and we got 14 days here, all right, in the beginning, all right here. And then we had over there that on the 15th day that the Messiah was put on the cross, all right? So we're just showing you pertaining to time, all right? So now when we come right down here, this is the 40 days, revealing the 40 days of how that the man and the woman was in the garden. All right. That's why I wanted to show you all of that. All right. So now I'm going to zoom in more. All right. I just want to show you that. So now when we are looking at how that when they came, they was in the garden for 40 days. They came out, and then here are the 9 days. All right. And now it is revealing that this is 9 days of darkness. Okay. And then it's revealing here how we got 360 plus 130, which is the seed of Adam. And we understand that pertaining to this first year or the first 360 days, pertaining to the 40 days after they came up out of the Garden of Eden, that we understand that this is a 490-year cycle and that this was the birth of Seth, because we understand that after Cain killed Abel, that Adam was 130 years afterwards, pertaining to when Seth was born. We know that it was 130 years after the fact, okay? So that being said, that when we're looking at this and we're coming here and we see how this is 40 days, and then we got the 9 days of dark, which is the 49th day, we understand that plus one, that Pentecost morning, which it was the 50th day, you see what I'm saying, when the man and woman came up out of the Garden of Eden, that on the 50th day was showing forth the conceiving of when the scriptures is talking about when Adam had knew his wife, and then we're talking about Pentecost. You understand what I'm saying? Or the 50 days, all right? So therefore, when we are looking at that, and then these 9 days that are manifesting right here up until the day of Pentecost, all right, are the same 9 days that are manifesting here on the chart when we are getting ready to hear Yahweh talk down unto the children of Israel. So I wanted to share that. And that's what these 9 days is representation of. All right? The outpouring. Okay? So that was one thing that I had forgot to mention. And I wanted to mention that, so that the viewers could understand the reason why that the 9-day countdown is so important, and to reveal how that 9 is the number of completion. So other than that, thank you, everyone, for your time. I hope that it was beneficial for you and that you got something about of it. It just wasn't idle chatter.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what Yahweh had for us this evening. Hopefully Monday we can pick up right where we left off, and hopefully the viewers have got something that may suffice their spiritual appetite. And if not, then come back and see us, and we will see what type of meal that we can provide for you. Hopefully that you will be able to enjoy. So these are the fruits of the Spirit that Yahweh had us to provide for you, and we hope that it was pleasing to you. So thank you.
I enjoyed it.
Mhm.